Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, September 16th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. The marine layer is much shallower this morning, with any low clouds confined mostly to the beaches. With high pressure peaking in strength overhead and tropical moisture just starting to filter in from the south, it's a recipe for a very summer-like day today. Take a look at our 24-hour relative humidity change. After many nights of good recoveries pretty much across the board, we're starting today off, in most cases, a lot drier than recent days. With the much drier start to the day, expect a substantially longer burn window and more active burning conditions today. It's going to be a warm one as well, as the recent warming trend peaks for most areas today, although parts of central California may tack on another degree or two tomorrow. We'll see valley highs rise well into the 90s, with likely some 100-degree readings in the warmer spots. Minimum humidity will drop to between 12 and 25% away from the coastal areas, and winds will be mostly light and terrain-driven. As tropical moisture begins to infiltrate the region, isolated thunderstorms will be possible over the Southern California mountains and deserts this afternoon and evening, mainly south and east of the I-15 corridor. These should not be a big deal. Storms should be limited in coverage, and any that do form will be slow-moving and wet. But there is a lot more where that came from as we continue to track Tropical Storm Mario. Mario is beginning to move over cooler waters and, as expected, is starting to weaken, and it will cease to be a tropical storm long before it ever has a chance to reach California. However, there is still a tremendous amount of tropical moisture that will be associated with its remnants, and because of the upper level pattern we have in the atmosphere right now, that remnant moisture will be transported directly into central and southern California starting tomorrow. As that happens, scattered to widespread showers and thunderstorms will move across the entire region from Wednesday through Friday, with the focus of most activity gradually spreading its way from south to north through that period. You can see on the model forecasted radar here just how much activity will likely be occurring. The air mass will also become very tropical as this occurs, with Florida-like humidity developing by Thursday. There remains some uncertainty, but projections are converging towards an outcome of overall higher rainfall totals. Most foothill and mountain locations will likely receive at least a half inch to an inch of rain, with locally much higher amounts of 2 to 4 inches. It's just a little early to say where those heavier amounts will be. Flatter coast and valley locations will also see wetting rains, but with amounts mostly under half an inch, though that could trend higher. Even most desert areas also look to receive wetting rains, and in many cases likely significant rain. In terms of flash flooding potential, it looks like rainfall rates will be gradual enough in most cases to limit that risk, but it's definitely not a zero risk, and with such a moist tropical air mass, I would expect that there will be some areas of higher rain rates over half an inch per hour, with potential for flash flooding and debris flow concerns where those heavier rates set up. A significant cooling trend will also occur Thursday through the weekend, with highs falling into the 60s and 70s across the mountains and 80s in the valleys. However, overnight low temperatures will not decrease much because of the increased moisture, and even though it will be cooler, it's still going to feel like a sauna out there in a couple of days, with very humid conditions expected. Gusty and erratic winds will be possible around any thunderstorms this week. Also, because the upcoming storm is moving in from the south, there will also likely be a period of strong southeast to southwest winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 50 miles per hour, especially across the higher terrain of Southern California, mainly from Wednesday afternoon into early Thursday. By this weekend, the forecast is somewhat uncertain, but the most likely outcome is for a drying trend with more seasonable weather returning. Potential for new fire starts and spread will continue to gradually increase today as the warming and drying trend peaks. Last week's moisture and the lack of wind or of more extreme heat continue to really limit potential overall, but it's definitely a better burn environment today relative to anything we've seen in the last 7 to 10 days or so. Abundant lightning will likely bring new ignitions to much of the region from Wednesday through Friday. However, their short-term growth potential should be very limited given the better confidence in significant rainfall and very high humidity. Fuel moistures, both dead and live, will significantly increase later this week, and there could very well be a full green-up that develops in a lot of areas in the wake of this event. This should be at least a fire season slowing event for the entire region, and in some cases very likely fire season ending, though we'll save the bulk of that analysis for once the rain actually occurs and we can see just what we ended up with. Nonetheless, it looks like this is going to be a highly beneficial event in terms of greatly reducing fire potential across the region. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, September 17th.